Welcome, everyone, to tonight's episode of the AFK Podcast. I am your host, Afro Black, coming at y'all with yet another episode with my co host, Mr. Markov Portrait. Say hello to the people.
Howdy.
Howdy. We got a plethora of articles for y'all tonight, but we're going to take them one at a time because I'm not good at multitasking. Why don't we start with this? A little bit of a itsy bitsy news. So apparently, according to Bethesda support, apparently all the physical editions of Starfield will not include a physical disc. Instead, all the physical editions will just be like, I'm assuming,
It's a voucher.
yeah,
Every version of the game that you could possibly buy comes with a digital voucher. They are
yes,
not doing discs.
yes. So, me personally, I mean, as a person who likes to keep like physical copies of my games whenever possible, I can understand why people would be a little bit upset about that. But at the same time, as a person who has a computer who has all of his games on said computer, and technically they're just licenses, I understand why they would want to switch to that. What are your thoughts, Carter?
It's fucking stupid. Don't even sell like a physical pre-order at that point.
That is also true. That is kind of confusing as to why you would ask for physical pre-orders, but not give them a physical game.
Like, don't do it like collector's edition, fine, but don't just be like, oh, here's a standard edition of the game. Here's a case that serves no purpose because there's no game in it. It's fucking stupid.
That's fair.
I
That's a
hate
fair
it. There's
point.
like so many fucking Switch games that have started to do that the last few years too, and it doesn't make any more goddamn sense to me.
Wait, Switch games are having to happen too?
There's a ton of Switch games that do it,
I did not know this.
like the Spyro Reignited trilogy, like Doom Eternal, both Doom games actually. I think. Yeah, there's like a ton where LA Noir is another one. There's like a ton where you can buy it and it'll have like part of the game on the cartridge, but because of the size of the game, they put the additional content as like a mandatory DLC or a mandatory download rather before you can even start the game.
Goddamn. I see. Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
I like having my physical games, especially for my Switch. I don't know what it is about Nintendo games, but it just feels so nice having a stack of games and physical copy games. Feels
Yeah.
so satisfying. So, so yeah, Starfield sucks now. -1 out of 10. Didn't give me disc.
Agreed.
Baby Rage.
Still
Let's.
probably gonna buy it though.
At least you're honest, bud. Moving on to the next little tidbit of news. Actually, following up from to more Bethesda news. According to Legacy Killer HD on Twitter, Phil Spencer was asked about the Elder Scrolls 6 exclusivity and insinuated it's not coming until 2028 at the earliest. Quote, it's so far out, it's hard to understand what the platforms will even be, end quote. We're talking about a game that's 5+ years away. Um, Honestly, I'm just okay with just saying for coping skills that Elder Scrolls 6 is just a meme at this point and it's not actually coming out.
Stop. Like I had the same problem with like Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15 and like fucking Destiny and like just stop announcing games before they are ready.
That's what I'm
Like if you do
saying.
not have your game, if you do not have your game at a point in development where you can show me the game, do not tell me you are making a game.
Exactly.
Leave me
Or
alone.
like
I would rather
Anthem.
not know than know and just have you keep pushing the fucking goalposts back.
Yeah. Basically. Just announce it when you actually have something palpable for us to latch onto. Cuz right
Yep.
now all we have to go off of is like a 10-second fucking clip that just shows a title and some mountains.
Yeah.
that's 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 all we've seen for Elder Scrolls 6 so far. So yeah. I'm not I would love to say that this saddens me, but it's been so long since the last Elder Scrolls game. I honestly just don't care when it comes out. I do
Honestly,
think,
if you want an Elder Scrolls fix, just play ESO at this point.
yeah, basically, they seem to be putting a lot of effort into that game. It's just, it just seems like a waste of mental energy to keep thinking about, oh, when are they gonna come out with the next bit of Elder Scrolls news? Well, I think we're like at least another 3 years away from a debut trailer. We've seen the teaser
Maybe.
of a debut trailer so far. That's about it. So
I don't know, dude.
yeah, it's just like I said, it's just basically a meme at this point.
Starfield better be as special as they're saying it is, or Bethesda's really gonna like start tanking
Yeah,
the company.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Carter, why don't you tell us about this memeing shareholder that disrupt the this shareholder meeting?
Oh yeah. So Nintendo had a shareholder meeting, um, where in the shareholder meetings, if you buy enough shares, obviously, you get to voice some opinions, concerns, whatever you have to say about that company whose shares that you own. This person bought 512,000 yen, which is about $3,570 US dollars worth of shares, to attend Nintendo's shareholder meeting to complain about Splatoon 3 support. Uh, Specifically, the treatment of the boy characters in Splatoon.
Man of the
That's it.
people.
That's why they bought shares of Nintendo stock to complain about how they think characters in that game were getting represented.
I respect it.
This is very similar to an incident a few years ago where, or no, it wasn't even a few years ago, it was last year. Someone bought shareholders to interrupt the meeting and ask them when a new F-Zero game was coming out.
I
I'm just gonna
just
say it, guys. If you're mad that a company's not doing something that you like, please do not buy giant quantities of stake in that company
just to
because
complain
you are
about it.
single-handedly funding them.
Yeah.
You are like actually funding them.
Especially if all you're doing it for is just to complain to them directly.
Mm,
Because I can promise you it's going in one ear and out the other. Jesus.
100%.
So, so yeah, that's kind of funny. I thought that was a little bit of a ha moment. Oh, and he even put screenshots of his shareholder transactions and shit on Twitter. That's
Yeah.
great.
No, he owns shares of Nintendo.
That's beautiful. That is amazing. But yeah, so that's pretty funny. Um, moving on to some even more fantastic news for our min-maxing professionals on MMOs, especially space age ones. According to PC Gamer, EVE Online becomes the first game with Microsoft Excel integration. Let's see here. EVE Online developer CCP Games has always had an element of self-knowledge about it and a unique relationship with its community who love and loathe EVE with a life overtaken ardor. One of the long-running gags about the game is that it's really just spreadsheets in space. And after announcing the collaboration a while ago, EVE Online has, 20 years after release, become the first video game to seamlessly integrate Microsoft Excel, the world's favorite spreadsheet software. Um, Excel is now a free add-on for EVE Online and enables you to effortlessly access and analyze your in-game data across all your accounts and characters. On the latter point, I was not a serious EVE player and had multiple accounts and characters across them, so you can imagine just how much data the big boys are tracking. Once imported, Excel will allow you to create custom reports, graphs, and charts to gain deep insights into your in-game activities, track your progress, and strategize your next steps. Um, any EVE player knows exactly what that means. Get ready for the corporate presentations. When I flew there, was one wing commander who'd occasionally take a squad out, check our ship's fits thoroughly, and make us all do roll call like a school assembly before the first warp. Imagine what such a mind will do with this power. How do you feel about that, Carter? How do you feel about your favorite game of 2023 having spreadsheets now?
Go outside.
That's rude, Carter.
God, just listening to you describe all of that shit just stresses me out so fucking much.
Carter, you already have to deal with spreadsheets at work. Now you can do it as a second job on EVE
Yeah,
Online.
at work, where they pay me.
Hey, you can get paid on EVE Online, all right? I'm sure some of these clan leaders that they could spend fucking 6 figures on a ship. They can spend a couple $1,000s a month on you doing spreadsheets for the clan, okay?
I can't wait to roleplay as an actual finance manager for a clan and an MMO.
Hell
That'll
yeah,
look
dude.
real good on a resume.
Fuck yeah, dude. Put it down for organizational skills dealing with armor, armory inventory, and organization.
Jesus Christ.
Sir, what did you do? I was a space explorer who did management and financial advisory for a clan / guild. I don't know. Are they called companies in EVE Online? I'm not for sure.
I don't know. I don't play EVE Online.
I need you to find this out for me, Carter. Become the man you're always meant to be, the world's greatest accountant.
I don't even have a finance degree.
That's
Have
fine.
any
You don't
degree.
even need one, dude. I believe in your potential.
That's not how finance works.
You just gotta believe. I am the
Thanks,
best at
Parappa.
this. Jesus. I don't really have an opinion on this. I'm gonna be honest. I guess it's
Like
cool.
I'm sure it from from what I'm gathering, it sounds useful for the people that it will apply to.
Yeah.
Um, I like Jesus Christ, like it stresses me out
I mean, from what
hearing
I've
that there's that
heard,
much shit going on in that game.
the economy in that game is actually pretty insane. So I'm not really surprised that the more hardcore players use spreadsheets to organize like their sales and shit like that to make sure that they aren't tanking or anything. Because I'm pretty sure that guilds are basically companies, but like the guild treasury is just like your economics and shit like that. I'm assuming. So I guess that's pretty cool.
Sure.
This is pretty cool. Um, I hope you guys enjoy your spreadsheets. That's all I gotta say. Because as an
Sounds
IT person,
super fun.
as an IT person who has to deal with Microsoft Office, the last thing I want to do when I come home really is mess with fucking Excel. But you do you. You do you. I respect the hustle. Okay, get that imaginary, possibly real shmoney. Okay.
Ah, damn, dude.
Let's see here. Now that Carter's stressed, I think it's a perfect time to actually start making his blood boil a little bit. Activision Blizzard shareholders have cast a majority vote against a proposal to prohibit management from interfering with employee unionization. In a landslide majority vote, Activision Blizzard's shareholders have turned down a union policy proposal that would have ensured the company's commitment to not interfering with any employee unionization efforts. The company hosts some of the biggest video games worldwide, from MMOs like World of Warcraft to iconic FPS titles such as Call of Duty, has deemed the proposed policy not necessary. The AFL-CIO Equity Index Fund, affiliated with the Communication Workers of America's union group, initially submitted the proposal. The investment arm has organized quality assurance workers at Activision Blizzard's Albany and Raven software studios. If it had gone through, the non-binding proposal would have pushed Activision Blizzard to adopt and publicly disclose a policy on its commitment to respect the international human rights of freedom of association and collective bargaining. The proposal would have also called for the company to adopt a process allowing for their identification of any violation of the policy and subsequent prompt punishment of such violation. The EIF aimed for the proposal to apply Blizzard Activision's global operations preventing management from getting in the way of workers' rights to unionize or from pressuring workers to not exercise those rights. There's more to this article, but I don't feel like reading the rest of it. Anyways, so Carter, how do you feel about Activision Blizzard proving even more so that they're the pieces of shit?
Blizzard's bad.
Okay.
Like, the one weirdly solid thing they have done in the last 5 years is the base game of Diablo 4, and that's it. Like, everything else about them is just garbage incarnate. And at this point, it feels like they're just garbage incarnate for the sake of being garbage.
True. I uh I like how they said, yeah, no, we don't mind if you union. Go ahead and do that. Okay, well, can you commit to this by signing a paper? No.
No.
Well, why not? Well, we want to be able to take it back at any time.
Yeah.
If you piss us off the wrong way, we want to be able to say, nah, fuck your union. It's disqualified.
True.
Oh, shit. I can't really say I'm surprised about them pulling some bullshit like this. I'm gonna be honest. My I didn't really have a lot of fanboyish attitude slash faith in Blizzard or Activision Blizzard to begin with, because at the end of the day, they're a capitalist centric company. So there's only so many morals and ethics that are going to go into their business practices, but they've really they've really like shown that they can't even meet the bare minimum for decency.
Basically.
So yeah. Yeah. I hope that there's some way for them to be able to counter that. I'm sure that there isn't, because, lawyers and all will find loopholes. But
Yeah.
I hope they find some way to appeal that sort of decision. Because obviously I'd like union workers to have a protection against their piece of shit antics, and for them to be able to get punished like properly if they violate it. So, because as of right now, it's more like a hospitality sort of thing where they're just like, yeah, no, we'll do this to humor you, but they aren't actually committing or actually saying that they'll do something if any violations are made. They want their cake and to eat it too. I think that's how the saying goes. You can't have your cake and eat it too. There you go. But in this case, Activision Blizzard is doing their best to do said thing. So, and it looks like it's working.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, I didn't even realize I'd actually clicked on this. Okay. So this article, moving on, well, I should say, moving on to the next article, sort of like out of left field. Um, so apparently EA Games is becoming EA Entertainment, which both heralds and threatens the possibility of an Electronic Arts cinematic universe. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. EA is splitting up with itself in an eternal shakeup that will see EA Games and EA Sports cut into two distinct units within the company. EA Games is also getting a rebrand. It's going to be called EA Entertainment from now on, suggesting that the company has plans to expand beyond gaming in some capacity. Who's up for a syndicate film? EA CEO Andrew Wilson announced the news in a post originally shared with EA employees to the company's website. In it, Wilson said the EA lifer Laura Miley, who's been with the company for near on 3 decades, quote, has been appointed president of EA Entertainment Technology and Central Development, end quote. In her new role, she will oversee key studios under the brand's umbrella, working alongside familiar faces like Respawn's Vince Zampella as he leads the world-class studios responsible for Apex Legends, EA Star Wars games, and Battlefield, as well as Samantha Ryan, who will continue to keep an eye on BioWare, Maxis, and other leading lifestyle franchises and blockbuster single-player experiences. On the other side, sportier side of things, the part of the company that's not especially interesting to pallid asocial nerds like me, but that continues to rain huge profits on the corporation regardless. EA Sports will continue to be headed up by Cam Weber, who's been with that side of the company since 2011. The shakeup is meant to give both division heads a bit more creative ownership and financial accountability to make faster and more insightful decisions around the development. How do you feel about this, Carter? How do you feel about them splitting up? Do you think it's going to be good or bad?
I mean, it makes sense to have different divisions
True.
for a company that size.
Yeah.
Guess it doesn't really change how pessimistic I am, excuse me, towards any games that they're making on either end of that. But guess we'll see.
Fair enough.
We'll see what they bring to the table.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Like you, I don't really have anything to add besides that. Just it makes sense that they're splitting up. Technically, I guess I shouldn't say splitting up harshly, but it makes sense that they're having two divisions because they focus on two different, genres. One for sports, one for everything else, essentially. Do I think this is really gonna affect their game quality? For EA Sports, probably not. They've had a pretty consistently extremely low bar for themselves, and they haven't really felt the need to lift it up because, people love to buy the games regardless and get the same features regurgitated to them or, taken away from them every year. So, microtransactions. So, yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw indeed. I guess we'll have to wait and see what this actually does for them and see if this is a positive change or not. Let's see here. Carter, why don't you tell us about the bone that Whoopi Goldberg has to pick with Diablo 4? Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of confused on it.
Oh. Yeah, she's mad because there's not a Mac version of Diablo 4. Whoopi Goldberg is like a giant uh, Diablo fan, and she was really stoked about Diablo 4 coming out. But then she was pissed when she realized that there was not a Mac version, because she is a Mac user. So she's been like tweeting about it and like tweeting at the company and shit, asking them for like a refund of her game. Um, if they're not gonna give her a refund, she wants a Mac version to come out. Um, yeah, like it got. She was getting pretty heated about it and shit to the point where they were like trying to reach Activision for comment and they just didn't say anything about it. But yeah, I thought it's a funny little thing.
That's funny. Imagine being that old and you throwing a tantrum because for whatever reason you don't want to just get a regular PC and you have to be dead set on having a Mac. I mean, it is kind of weird that Blizzard didn't make a Mac version, but I mean, come on, bro. You got probably like a solid fucking 9 figures chilling in your bank account and countless assets. You're telling me you can't spend like $1,500 to $2,000 on a PC that'll run it just fine? Come
Yeah,
on.
but it's like the principle of the
No,
thing.
no, I understand. Like I said, like I can understand like valid criticism, but now it's like it's bordering on the on like in from principle complaining to like entitlement essentially.
I guess. I just thought it was funny.
Oh no, I get I got a laugh out of it when you posted it in the Discord the other night. um but yeah, so um Whoopi Goldberg is not happy with Activision Blizzard, the same with basically the rest of the world, as they
She's a
angrily
true gamer.
play Diablo 4 happily. Um,
She's a true gamer.
so yeah. Why don't we talk about something slightly morbid, huh? So, submarine-based game, based horror game, Iron Lung has seen a sales spike following Ocean Gate's Titan submersible going missing. Slash, I think it was basically confirmed like either yesterday or the day before that it did indeed implode. Um, but
Yep.
something the developer has said feels so wrong. Um, David, we're just gonna call him S, shared a graph showing a spike in sales of Iron Lung that began on June 19th when the media began reporting on the missing submersible. Um, to which then, this guy says this feels so wrong. Quote, I made Iron Lung and the most nightmarish thing I could think of, and knowing real people are in that situation right now is pretty horrific. Even if it was their own bad decisions, they added. Um, Iron Lung is described as a short horror game where where you pilot a tiny submarine through an ocean of blood on an alien moon. Ocean Gate submersible, which was on an expedition to the Titanic wreckage, failed to make a scheduled return to the surface on June 19th, with searches beginning the following day. The submersible also made headlines over seemingly using a video game controller to operate it, which I did hear that apparently that is standard practice for a lot of organizations, including our U.S. military. They'll use old-fashioned game controllers and shit because they're ergonomic and comfortable. So I can't really knock them per se on that. You can just knock them on pretty much every other violation and safety violation you could like outside of that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
Oh,
like
sorry, I should.
so. I'm glad that the game controller is standard, right? What about the rest of the fucking submersible? I don't think that was standard. Um,
Nah, dude built it in his backyard.
let's see here. A November CBS report showed Ocean Gate CEO Rush or Stockton Rush giving a tour of the vessel where he showed a Logitech gamepad and said, "We run the whole thing with this game controller." A search and rescue mission is currently underway for the submersible, which I don't know if it still is. It might just be more like a
At
search and
this point,
recover.
no. It is strictly moved to a recover. They have confirmed that the sub itself is imploded.
Yeah,
Um, Not to make light of anything, but they did confirm that the Logitech controller that they used is fully intact.
that's pretty impressive. That's like Nokia level of durability.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a good third-party controller for like a PC or something, apparently you could do a lot worse than those.
Um,
But
let's see here. This number one comment says the lack of sympathy for these poor souls is shocking. I knew there was a decline in morals across the board in Western society, but this tragedy has been a source of entertainment for a lot of people. Some news outlets are even digging up their voting/donating policies. I would like to be clear. I am in no way, shape, or form laughing at 4 out of the 5 individuals that passed away, even though I also understand that they looked at that vessel, they looked at the waivers, they like understood the whole situation, and they still went with it. I would like to point that out. However, the only person that I'm laughing at is the motherfucker that built it and then was like, some people like to twist stupid with brave. So I'm gonna just go ahead and call him stupid enough to take that thing down, not only into the water in general, but he went down almost 3 times as much as what that thing was actually built for, depth wise, and then expected everything to be fine. So
yeah,
I'd like
it's
to point that out.
I don't know. Like yeah, at its core, it's just a really sad story. But
Yes, don't get me wrong. It is sad, and I would not wish that upon anyone for like to be that terrified. However, I would like to say consolation wise, the implosion probably killed them instantly. So they didn't
oh
feel any
yeah,
pain, but it was the outright terror and shit that I would never wish on anybody. But
yeah,
I'm not gonna sit here and say that the person that not only looked over this vessel and then ignored every safety precaution that most people that have done these kinds of deep dives have like established, the building schematics for these. He basically said, "Fuck all that. I want to make my own unique one that doesn't have even like remotely a quarter of the durability that I want it to have.
Yeah.
It's just like it's yeah. As for like I think there's one like teenager, one 19-year-old on there. It's really unfortunate because I heard apparently the only reason why he was on there was because he wanted to go there in support of his dad for Father's Day because his dad really
It was
wanted
like
to
a
go.
Father's Day thing, but
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I feel really sad for those two. I feel bad for basically all the passengers, but it's really hard for me to feel sympathy for the CEO that had his head so far up his ass that he ignored everything and said, "You know what? I'm gonna take four of the people down with me, and more than likely gonna kill them
yeah.
because I think my design is better with no backing whatsoever." So, um, but yeah, as of right now, they have confirmed. I believe they have confirmed that the ship has imploded. To be fair, they started showing. They started finding pieces. I think on Thursday of the ship. If
Well, that
I'm.
was when they confirmed the implosion.
Oh, was it okay?
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was walking the casino floor, I seen it on the news that they were starting to find pieces of it, and I was like, "Oh, well, that's not a good sign."
Yeah, that was big on.
Yeah. So. So yeah, moving on to something that isn't morbid but still as irritating. Carter, why don't you tell us about Secret Invasion's intro?
Oh yeah. So, Secret Invasion. It's the newest MCU show. I actually watched the first episode out of curiosity because it's like one of my favorite comic runs. Pretty fun. And as far as the show goes, I think it started off pretty strong. Um, so we'll see. Hopefully they can keep the momentum going. But episode one kind of kicked things off with a bang. So, but a lot of issues that people are having is the fact that the intro for the show was made entirely out of AI technology to the point that the director of the show has gone so far as to say they have purposely reached out to AI vendors to create the show. Um, their statement on it was, quote, when we reached out to the AI vendors that was part of it, it just came out of the shape-shifting scroll. Oh my god. It just came right out of the shape-shifting scroll world identity, who did this, who is this, end quote. Um, there was pretty immediate backlash throughout the industry, including people that were like also that do work for Marvel Studios. Um, Kagan McLeod, who is the artist who worked on like the outro paintings that they used for the She-Hulk credits. David Mack, who did the credits for Winter Soldier back in 2014. Um, both kind of mentioned that they weren't super stoked on it. Um, the people that worked on the post credits for, or not the post credits, but the credits for like Moon Knight and Loki, were also kind of concerned about it. Um, just kind of a lot of people
Yeah.
being really surprised that, hey, you've got all the money in the world, you've got this giant fucking backlog of talent that you have at your disposal that could come back for you at any time. And your justification for AI is, oh, but the show is a creepy mystery, so why not also make it creepy by making it an AI? Like I don't know. It's really frustrating.
Fair enough.
And it also looks kind of bad, like optics wise. I think it looks kind of shitty to do that in the middle of the writer's strike as well.
Yeah. Little bit
Which
of
I
an
know a couple
extra like
people have
fuck
pointed
you
out,
to people
but
that are trying to make a living out of artistry in general.
yeah.
Hmm. So you're saying that they just want to make so it's only the opening that they want to make out of the AI, or they want to do all the special effects in AI as well?
Correct. No, it's the intro sequence that they have for the show. It's all
I see, I
Everything.
see. When's the oh premieres Wednesday morning?
Dude, I just said that I watched the first episode that came out last week.
I see. Well, shit. My bad. I mean, did you like it?
Yeah, the show itself was fine. It was surprisingly not dog shit for the current overall state of the Marvel thing. But
So it hits your bare minimum standards.
yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson always kind of delivers as Nick Fury. The returning cast that was there also did a pretty good job. Like I said, it was a pretty go 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 first episode. The new characters are great too. Emily Clark from Game of Thrones is in it. I think that's her name. Um, one of the girls from Game of Thrones, I guess, is in it. She did pretty well.
Emily Clark.
I,
Is
I
she?
believe that's her name.
Hold on,
The
because
girl who
that name
played
sounds hella familiar.
Daenerys. I
Daenerys.
have not
That's
watched Game of
why.
Thrones.
Okay, Amelia Clark.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Yep.
Amelia Clark. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, she's in it. She does great. I apologize.
No, you're
Um,
good. I heard Emily Clark. I'm like, that sounds fucking hella familiar. And then you
yeah,
said Game of Thrones. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the Dragon Queen, but I wasn't
yeah,
for sure.
it's her. She does great. Gave me a lot of Winter Soldier vibes throughout too, which I am always down to clown with.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it really like kicked things off with a bang. I thought they did a really good job.
Hell yes. I might actually give that a shot. I might watch that
I'm
up.
interested to see how they do it because this is one where another minor point of controversy that people have brought up that I'm sure people would be more vocal about were it not for the last few years, um, and how low the quality's been already. But something that was interesting about this show is the showrunners were explicitly told to not read any Secret Invasion stuff before they started working on the show. So that makes me especially curious, A, to see where they're going to take it by the time it's over, and B, if they can keep the momentum up.
True. All right. Um. All right. Well, I guess we will see where this goes. Honestly, I don't really like them using AI to generate the openings either. I think there's more creativity in it when you let humans do it. But I mean, have they even? I'm assuming they've ran the numbers or something and have basically came up with the openings are just like cheaper, or that's the only
No,
thing
they
I.
said it was specifically like they said it was intrinsic to the overall theme and tone of this show.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out if they're lying or not.
Since
Um.
it's all like spooky and it's anyone can be anyone type thing. So
Now I have to watch it. Sounds like the thing all over again.
it's pretty fun.
Hell yeah. Moving on to some very hot news. According to harddrive.net, let's see here. San Diego, in a health conscious move, attendees this year's San Diego Comic Con will be given complimentary nose plugs to block any and all offensive odors that may be encountered at the festival.
Isaiah, oh, you took the bait. I am so glad you're recording. Dude, Hard Drive is a parody news site.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
you know what's
was a bit
sad?
to see if you would
And I'm
take it.
pretty sure that's why you put the bait in here. I wouldn't be surprised if they did say
Oh my
this.
god. Oh, it's beautiful.
That's great.
Fuck yeah. I'm happy.
Didn't they actually dish out like nose plugs and shit like that for that one like Evo?
There was Evo last year. They didn't provide anything, but they had a very like serious like cleanliness policy to where like if they had like any complaints of odor or if they could smell you or anything like that, then you weren't allowed to attend.
Jesus,
Like
I
they would
remember
kick
that
you out of the
actually.
venue. Oh, that's fucking great. I didn't
Jesus
think that would
Christ.
actually work.
That's great. The sad part is that that sounds That sounds perfectly realistic for them to fucking say that
Yeah,
shit too. That's the sad part, bro. Jesus Christ.
that's fun.
Oh god. Okay. Well, back to a bit of Starfield news. Or I guess I shouldn't say news, but like some past drama, I guess you could say. Apparently, according to the FTC, Starfield was planned for the PS5 prior to Microsoft's ZeniMax acquisition. Let's see here. Documents recently made public as part of the FTC's injunction against Microsoft's planned acquisition of Activision Blizzard. That prior to Microsoft's $7.5 billion acquisition of ZeniMax, both Starfield and Redfall were planned to release on rival Sony's PS5 console. Well, I mean, they lucked out on not getting one of them. Um, let's see here. That obviously changed once Microsoft announced that it would be purchasing ZeniMax in 2020. With the deal being finalized in March of 2021, Starfield was originally announced in 2018. The game's announcement teaser does not mention what platforms the game would be shipped on. Fans have long assumed that that a major new game from Bethesda Game Studios would have been released on multiple platforms, if not for the Microsoft acquisition of Bethesda. Given that Skyrim and recent Fallout games have shipped on both Microsoft and Sony's consoles in the past, the theory that Starfield was originally planned for PS5 received more evidence earlier this year when it was revealed in an interview that vampire shooter Redfall, which became a Xbox console exclusive, originally had a PS5 version in the works. That version of the game was abandoned after Microsoft's acquisition. Starfield is slated to release this September. Microsoft leaders were originally vague about whether or not certain games would be exclusive prior to ZeniMax's deal being finalized, but once the deal closed, it was quickly announced that some of the games, including future Bethesda titles, would be Xbox and PC exclusives. Now Microsoft's handling of ZeniMax and making certain games exclusive could factor into the FTC's final ruling matter, as the FTC is laying out its case for why Microsoft shouldn't be allowed to acquire Activision Blizzard. Though Microsoft has insisted it doesn't plan on making Activision games like Call of Duty exclusive anytime soon, the FTC claims that Microsoft's actions following its 2021 acquisition of ZeniMax speak louder than the defendant's words, which that's fair. Um, let's see here. Microsoft, on the other hand, has pointed out how it handled its acquisition of Minecraft developer Mojang as evidence that it has a track record of keeping massively popular games available on multiple platforms. It also sought to make deals with companies like Nintendo and Sony to guarantee access to Call of Duty titles for the coming decade, a deal Sony has thus far refused. The FTC announced in December that it would sue to block Microsoft's $70 billion purchase of Activision Blizzard. A federal court last week issued a temporary restraining order requested by the FTC, um, a move that effectively blocks the deal for the time being. The case this week will go to trial as the FTC attempts to receive a preliminary injunction against the merger that would result in the deal being put on ice as the FTC reviews it. A preliminary injunction would likely mean that Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard would not be finalized by July 18th, after which the two parties would have to renegotiate. If a new deal isn't reached, Microsoft will be required to pay $3 billion in a breakup fee to Activision Blizzard. Jesus Christ. Drama.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so how do you feel about that, Carter? You think Microsoft's being scummy?
I don't think one side of this is being any more scummy than the other. I think both parties have proven that they are corporations that are, at the end of the day, out there for their best interests,
Okay,
regardless of whatever PR shit Phil Spencer wants to say during E3.
true. Um yeah, no. It's kind of shitty, but I can't also say that one micro or Sony lost anything when they lost Redfall. Two, I guess like since they are consoles, even though everyone hates it, including myself, I guess it makes sense for them to try and restrain Bethesda's key releases to Microsoft platforms only. Still a shitty thing to do though. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Not
Continuing
much
on.
shittier than all the exclusives that Sony has, though.
True. That is true. Sony seems to think that it's only okay for them to do it, apparently.
Correct.
Moving on, actually, speaking of Sony being petty, according to as reported by Eurogamer, PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan told the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, which is currently battling against Microsoft Steel and Core, that it couldn't give immensely sensitive information about its next console to a company owned by Xbox. Sony, quote, simply could not run the risk of a company that was owned by a direct competitor having access to that information, Ryan said. Raising concerns its game development process could be interrupted or would be interrupted as it could no longer share confidential details about its next console. While Sony won't publicly announce the PS6 until around a year or so before its launch, it has discussions and shares hardware with developers ahead of time so they can prepare games for the new system. This allows for the likes of COD to appear as a launch title, though Sony is suggesting here that the Microsoft deal going through could prevent this from for its next console. It would also allow, Ryan said, for the likes of Call of Duty to be optimized for the Xbox during this additional stint of development time. Ryan's comments highlight an issue with the Activision Blizzard deal not previously discussed, and perhaps one not satisfied by Microsoft offering PlayStation a 10-year deal to ensure its retainment of Call of Duty. Xbox will presumably have to deal with the same issue when the new console generation comes along, of course, as Sony owns the likes of San Diego Studio and Bungie, who developed MLB The Show and Destiny franchises respectively, both of which are multi-platform. Yeah. So, how do you feel about that, Carter? You think Sony's being petty?
I mean, the concerns are legitimate, but it's also not something that um, Microsoft hasn't run the risk of with shit like Minecraft or Deathloop or any of the recent PS5 ports to some of their older games like Skyrim or Doom. Um, I don't know. I think that it could just as easily be flipped around if Phil Spencer came out and said the same thing about them not getting any Xbox dev kits if they wanted to put their games on a console.
That's true. I can agree with that. So, in other words, Sony being more wham wham baby face, baby rage, give me what I want, and if you don't, I'm just gonna throw a tantrum and make things petty. Fantastic.
They just really struggle to like paint themselves in a good light whenever they say anything about this whole merger.
Yeah, that's true.
Like on paper, their concerns are valid, but when they sit there and go, "No, we're not going to do that," or "No, if you do that, then you guys are going to do this," yada yada yada. Which like, I don't know. If they're concerned about any of that shit, just make them sign a fucking NDA.
True.
Like, and then sue their ass the second anyone breaks anything. That's all you need to do.
That's fair.
I'm sure that's what fucking Microsoft had you guys do when they put Minecraft on PlayStation.
Oh man.
It's all a bunch of fucking man children with more money than I'll ever see bitching about how to spend it. So,
True. I can agree with that.
and neither of them are gonna give me Ape Escape 4. So what does it really matter at the end of the day?
um, let's see here. So, according to, or moving on to the next little tidbit of information, according to the ESA reps over in the city of Los Angeles, E3 has been canceled for the years of 2024 and 2025. Um, apparently that apparently they're still trying to say to be determined, but the city of LA has listed it as canceled. So I'm more inclined to believe the city that knows what the fuck is going on.
Jeff
Uh,
Knightley wins again.
Yay. So yeah, there's that heartbreaking news.
In case the writing wasn't already on the wall.
Let's see here. Carter, why don't we talk about your favorite actor of 2023, Ezra Miller, and
Who's my
how
favorite actor of 2023? Sorry,
according
what was
according to this industry expert, this individual is calling the Flash box office debut a disaster for DC. Why don't you tell us about that, Carter?
Yeah, Flash is fucking flopping in theaters right now. Um, Let me see if I can find the specific numbers because I know it's had a pretty hard drop. Uh, bu- 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 there was an anonymous industry veteran who spoke to Variety saying the Flash should be opening to at least 120 million domestic. Um, it is open to 55. Um, that same person has said that this movie is an unmitigated disaster. DC Studios' 2023 release schedule, which includes Shazam 2, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman 2, is estimated by experts speaking to Variety to cost between 1.1 and 1.2 billion dollars in production and marketing. Um, and they only have two more movies coming out this year.
Oof.
They have not made back their money, if that estimate proves to be true. The Flash premiered June 15th. It is therefore due another few weeks at the box office, though its recent competition in the likes of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has completely outperformed it so far. The sequel opened to 120.5 million, and even in its second week, earned more than The Flash's debut with 55.42 million of its own.
Goddamn.
So a
Get
movie that has been
lapped.
out in theaters made more money its second week than the premiere week of The Flash. On top of this, there are plenty of conversations around The Flash, however, headlined by its wealth of cameos that have been deemed by some as odd and offensive. I'm not going to get into specifics for spoiler purposes on this episode, but it's definitely something we can talk about at another time because some of these cameos are the most fucking out of pocket things that I have ever seen. I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the leaks of the people that show up. Fucking batshit to me that you would even consider that, let alone let it get all the.
Oof.
This box office performance also raises a question mark over the star Ezra Miller's future in the DCU. Excuse me, and perhaps DC Studios co-CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran's eagerness to bring the Flash back sooner rather than later. The director Andy Muschietti, however, has not ruled out a sequel, though he's already been tapped by DC to leave Batman: Brave and the Bold, one of the 5 new movies in Chapter 1 of the new DCU.
Hmm. So, what do you think the fate of the DCU is going to be?
For as much as I thought this movie was gonna be like them hard rebooting it for James Gunn, at this point, I feel like they should really just abandon ship after this year. Like, obviously, the 2 other movies that are set to come out this year are already done, and I think it would be fucking stupid to throw them away. Um, but I don't think they should keep pursuing anything after these 2. I think they need to give themselves that sabbatical to let James Gunn get everything prepped and ready for whatever he's got on his plate.
Fair.
Especially if you give yourself a break and then come back with a fucking strong adaptation of Brave and the Bold, like that could be amazing on paper.
True. I can agree with that.
But I don't know. there's been several points in the DCU where it feels like there have been people that say, "Hey, we need to stop doing this," and then Warner Brothers just says no. It's so fucking disjointed.
But it's
Even
printing
within the movies,
money.
it's not though. As we just said, it is not printing money. Um, it baffles me that even within their own like fucking canon and timeline of events, there's still shit that just does not make any fucking sense.
It's great.
It's not.
It makes the movies more interesting, Carter.
It doesn't.
Even the directors don't know what the fuck's going on.
That's bad.
Oh shit. So yeah, to be fair, also it's not like Ezra Miller did themselves any favors with the bullshit that went on. So um, yeah, that's that's just dessert, if you ask me. Just the dirts indeed. Let's see
Yeah.
here. Apparently, Konami has just announced the contents of Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 due out this
Hmm.
October. Now the internet has spotted the lineup of games for the unannounced Volume 2. Twitter user Nitroid spotted that inspecting the Metal Gear Solid timeline page on the official Metal Gear Solid website reveals placeholder buttons for Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Um, IGN understands this lineup for Metal Gear Solid Volume 2 is accurate and has asked Konami for a comment. While the entire collection will no doubt excite Metal Gear fans, its inclusion of Metal Gear Solid 4 that's most of interest. Kojima Productions' 2008 action-adventure stealth video game has been shackled to the PS3 since launch, and with Metal Gear Solid Volume 2 expected to launch on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch, an army of newcomers are set to experience Guns of the Patriots for the first time. Peace Walker launched first in 2010 as the fifth installment of the Metal Gear Solid series, made specifically for the PlayStation Portable. It later launched on PS3 and Xbox 360 as part of the Metal Gear Solid HD collection. um, Metal Gear Solid 5 launched in 2015 as Hideo Kojima's final work at Konami. It's available on PS3, 4, PC, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. Metal Gear Solid Volume 1 includes Metal Gear Solid 1, 2 Sons of Liberty, 3 Snake Eater, Metal Gear, and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Snake's Revenge, a screenplay book containing in-game text of each title, and a master book detailing the story and characters. The collection's release means Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater will see its first ever release on PC. How you feel about that, Carter? You fucking excited, dude?
I am pretty excited. Metal Gear is one. Excuse me. Metal Gear is one that I was always excited to get into, but I never really had the means to when the games came around. I've played a bit of 5, but I haven't dedicated as much time to it as I would like to, which disappoints me because that intro sequence for MGS5 is like one of the most insane fucking things I've ever seen in a video game. And I know I've played through the original MGS1 back on PS1. Actually, I played the PSP port that they did, which was jank, but I still got my fun out of it. Um, I really hope that they manage to make this a complete collection of Metal Gear games, because that would be cool for the sake of like game preservation as well as just having like a complete collection for the first time everywhere.
I see. Yeah.
Game preservation is important, and I definitely think that that's one of the series that like really needs to be like if there was a video game Hall of Fame. For as much as I hate Konami, I feel like Metal Gear definitely has a spot in there.
That's fair. It is a pretty infamous series, so I think I myself might actually give it a shot because I've never played through like any of the games. So, well, I played through
Some of the shit they
Revengeance.
pull off in the first one is such a mind fuck.
I played through Revengeance. That's the only Metal Gear game I've played.
Yeah, it doesn't count, I guess.
No, it's a spinoff, but it was still fun.
It'd be cool as fuck if that way made it to the collection.
True. Give me a
I'd pay as much
remaster,
for the
dude.
collection. I was gonna say I'd pay as much for the collection for that one game.
True. So yeah. God damn it, man! Why am I so tired? Um,
Mm.
so yeah, you guys can expect to see that out in October, along with Volume 2 coming out eventually. So that sounds pretty cool, and I will definitely be giving those games a shot.
Yeah.
All right. I just I just realized you put 2 hard drive fucking articles in the chat.
I put a lot in there because I was hoping you would take the bait.
Huge news for gamers. Elon Musk has invented a new slur.
It's pretty great.
Jesus fucking Christ. I'm not reading this shit. Moving
Yeah, come on, man.
on. According to ScreenCrush.com, Bad Bunny Spider-Man spinoff has been taken off the release schedule. Let's see here. A little over a year after it was first announced, Sony has removed the Spider-Man spin-off movie El Muerto from its upcoming release calendar. The movie was previously scheduled to open in theaters on January 12th of next year. The main attraction here was arguably not El Muerto himself, a fairly obscure Spider-Man supporting character, but rather Bad Bunny, the multimedia star who was supposed to play the lead role. If the film does come together and get released, it will be the first live-action superhero film headlined by a Latino actor. As Marvel.com describes him, El Muerto is a superpowered wrestler whose powers and mask have been passed down generation to generation. Each wrestler had to prove themselves to their oppressor, El Dorado, so that they could remain alive and keep their powers. The character of El Muerto. I can't fucking speak
El
tonight.
Muerto.
Jesus Christ. I'm too tired for this shit. You read the rest.
Okay, let me find where you left off.
Oh, God. Third paragraph about halfway down.
Yep. Each wrestler had to prove themselves to their oppressor, El Dorado, so they could remain alive and keep their powers. The character of El Muerto first appeared in a 2006 issue of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, written by Peter David and illustrated by Roger Cruz. It is a particularly good role for Bad Bunny, who in recent years has wrestled at several WWE events, most recently at the company's Backlash pay-per-view earlier this spring. Sony has become increasingly focused on expanding its Spider-Man franchise any way it can, primarily by making spin-off movies for characters from the Spider-Man comics. Sony holds the movie rights to Spider-Man's expansive library of affiliated characters, most of which are villains. They've had major success with the Venom franchise starring Tom Hardy, but a much harder time turning Morbius starring Jared Leto as a scientist turned vampire into a hit. The next spin-off movie, Kraven the Hunter, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson as the longtime Marvel villain, currently scheduled to open in theaters on October 6th. El Muerto isn't necessarily canceled at this point. Sony could wind up putting it back on its release schedule at a later date. The longer it goes before that happens, though, the more El Muerto looks like a dead project.
Unfortunate, dude.
Not really.
What do you mean you don't want to see the superpowered wrestler in action, dude?
Not when he has like 10 comics to his name.
This guy, man, just no faith. Everyone wants to see a lucha libre.
I mean, it's a cool concept, but if you're going to bill a 2-hour movie off of that with barely any fucking backstory to go off of, like, what's the end game?
To sell you on the movie.
Exactly. Trying to sell me something instead of make something good.
True. Bars, Carter. Bars.
Yup.
All right. All right. I see you. I see you. Okay. Well, um, I didn't even know this fucking superhero even existed prior to about 5 minutes ago. So yeah. Does it suck that Bad Bunny had his movie possibly canceled? Sure. Am I gonna miss it? Fuck no, because Craven the Hunter is coming out. End tweet.
Yeah, the trailer didn't look awful, but I guess the Morbius trailer didn't look awful either, so we'll see.
True. Okay. So, the last article that I found for the night, or that I picked out of the Discord for the night, was Xbox Series X and Game Pass are both getting price hikes apparently. So according to this article from Games Radar, the Game Pass subscription will be $10.99, up from 99 $9.99, and then the Ultimate Game Pass will be $16.99, up from $15.99. The PC Game Pass prices are unaffected by the news. These new prices go into effect on July 6th, but only for new subscribers. Existing subscribers won't have to pay anything extra until their next renewal after August 13th. Let's see here. Like the PS5 before it, Xbox Series X is getting more expensive throughout much of the world. As The Verge reports, the console will be priced at €480 in the UK, €550 across most European countries, 650 Canadian dollars, and 800 Australian dollars. In Australia starting August 1st. Existing prices will remain the same in the U.S., Japan, Chile, Brazil, and Colombia. Xbox Series S will remain at its same price globally. Quote: we've held on our prices for consoles for many years and have adjusted the prices to reflect the competitive conditions in each market. Xbox Communications head Carrie Perez tells The Verge. Perez also says the Game Pass price increases are, quote, not related to the Activision Blizzard deal and are not intended to match local market conditions. While Game Pass will still be the cheapest way to play Starfield later this year, it looks like you'll have to drop Microsoft a couple of extra bucks for the privilege. As we've seen in other subscription services, like with the Disney Plus price increase, you can never count on these costs remaining stable. How do you feel about that, Carter? Are you fucking enraged that they're doing this right now?
Not really. I mean, it sucks, but capitalism reigns, I guess.
True.
They need to make more money off of it, so be it. I guess it's more of an inflation than capitalism thing,
Yeah, I was about to say.
but
All right. Well, um, kind of sucks, but like he said, inflation, world is going to shit, the usual. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, um, I don't have a console, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the last article that I seen from your smorgasbord, Carter. That looked fun to talk about. Were there any?
Okay, well, you're wrong, because there was a Nintendo Direct this.
Was there? Did you put that in here?
I did.
You did. Do you want to go over that really quick?
I do.
All right, let's do it, dude.
So there was a Nintendo Direct on Thursday this week. No, excuse me, Wednesday. Sometime this week. Um, and it was a fucking banger and a half. We didn't really know what Nintendo had planned for the console after Tears of the Kingdom came out. Um, well, I should say after Pikmin came out, comes out, because that was the last big one they had on their radar for this year. Um, a lot of people were thinking that, oh, this is going to be the tipping point where it starts to get a lot more quiet while they work on their next console, because that's still heavily rumored to either get announced by the end of this year or sometime early next year. But they kind of said, hey, fuck you, we're not doing that. So there is a shit ton of stuff coming out in the next year. The headliner being a new 2D Mario called Super Mario Bros. Wonder,
Oh,
whose art style looks fucking fantastic. It looks so pretty. It is such a fucking fever dream. I love the aesthetic that they're going for with this. They're finally getting rid of that like Super Mario Bros. Style and going for something new. Um, the big like power up for this game is called the Wonder Flower. It just kind of makes random wild shit happen. Um, the big show off that they had for this was Mario turning into an elephant and just kind of stomping around. So that was kind of cool. Um, they have also announced 6 playable characters: Mario, Luigi, Toad, Princess Peach, Princess Daisy, and Yoshi.
beautiful.
That is coming out October 20th, which I believe is the same day as Spider Man 2. October is going to be a stupid busy month for games this year. Not launching even a month after the new Super Mario Bros. Game, um, probably what is the single most requested Nintendo re release I have ever seen in my lifetime, is finally happening. They are remaking Super Mario RPG. That comes out November 17th. It is a from the ground remaster, completely like remade, new engine, um, still being like co-developed by Nintendo and Square. Looks really pretty. I am pretty stoked on that because I have never gotten a chance to play the original, and I've heard nothing but great things.
Fair enough.
The next big one is more of a re-announcement. Detective Pikachu 2 is also coming out in October 6th of this year.
Oh,
Um, this new game promises to dive deep into the origins of Detective Pikachu and allows players to solve a ton of mysteries across Rhyme City alongside Tim Goodman and other Pokemon. Um, Looks really pretty. I'm glad that they are doing this. I know when they first announced it was a 3DS game. I'm glad they kind of shifted development over.
yeah, we don't really like shitty development around here.
It's true. Um, they also confirmed, as I mentioned earlier, the Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1 is confirmed for Switch as well as the other platforms it's been announced for. Again, to recap, this includes Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and Metal Gear 1 and 2, which were the old NES games. So that's cool. One more platform to play Anger series on.
True.
They have announced Tears of the Kingdom amiibo for Zelda and Ganondorf that are dropping sometime around the holidays this year. There's not a specific release date for those yet, but I do like the designs for both of them quite a bit.
Carter will be picking up 5 copies of each.
I'll probably get at least one. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do any like DLC announcements or anything like that, but never say never, I guess. Next one on here, WarioWare Move will bring the micro game party to the Switch this November. The latest WarioWare game, Move It, will be released November 6th, 2023. Players will get up on their feet to compete in over 200 wild and hilarious micro games. Up to 4 players can play at once. Excuse me, and this game seems to be all about holding a set of Joy-Con and being as ridiculous as possible by performing actions like shaking, striking poses, dancing, and more. The trailer for that one, it kind of reminded me of the one on the Wii that they years back, but slightly more involved. So that'll be cool because the WarioWare game that came out last year kind of sucked, and I'm mad about it. I also wish that they would just make another fucking Wario Land game. For as much as I love Pizza Tower, which is a phenomenal indie game that was made out of spite for Nintendo not making a Wario Land game, um, I wish Nintendo would make a fucking Wario Land game, but I will settle until that day comes. Um, they showed off Pikmin 4 was kind of the big center focus of this direct because it is their next big game coming out at the end of the month. In fact, it comes out on Tuesday, so the 28th, 3 days from recording this. No, excuse me, that's a demo. I apologize. The demo comes out June 28th. Game itself comes out July 21st. Um, they showed off more stuff, such as a Dandori battle mini game, an adorable dog friend, Owachi, who can carry items, smash obstacles, become a flotation device, and more. Uh, Also, a first for the series, they have announced nighttime expeditions and glowing Pikmin.
Glow in the
Alongside,
dark Pikmin.
that's that's right, they glow in the dark.
Fuck yes, dude.
Like I said, game comes out July 21st. There, 21st, excuse me. There is a demo dropping on the eShop on June 28th, so just a couple days from us recording this. Similar to the Metroid Prime Ghost drop that they did a couple months ago, they ghost dropped Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 on the eShop. You can purchase them separately or as a bundle. Both games are being released on a physical cartridge set to come out September 22nd.
Nice.
So it's kind of cool. They have, I believe we're at a point now that all major Pikmin games are now on the Switch. We don't talk about the side scroller they did on the 3DS. It's bad. But the other ones are there. We also got a short trailer for the Treasure of Area Zero expansion for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet coming out this fall. Still set to include the Teal Mask and the Indigo Disc. Teal Mask arrives this fall, and Indigo Disc will follow in winter. No set release dates on either of those, but if you want to see more gameplay and stuff around that, there's a 3-minute trailer out there. Wave 5 of Mario Kart Deluxe Booster Course Pass will be releasing this summer. It is bringing a new course, Squeaky Clean Spring, which just kind of look like you're racing around in a bathroom. It's pretty cute. It reminds me of the... I'm struggling to think the name of the track, but it's the one where you race around like the kid's like bedroom and it looks like a Toy Story level. Like same energy.
Oh.
I don't know. It looked cool. Let me see. I thought this included the other tracks that are coming well, but not in that one. So, oh no, they just announced the one. So I guess we don't really know what else is coming around as far as tracks go, which is interesting. I'll be excited to see what they do with those. But as opposed to track announcements, they did announce that we are getting 3 new characters in this wave as well. PD Piranha makes his return from Mario Kart Double Dash. We are getting Wiggler from Mario Kart 7, and my boy Kamek is finally getting a kart entry. Looks pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. I am very surprised at the amount of life that this fucking 12-year-old game has in it at this point. Maybe not quite 12 years old, but at least 10 when you consider the original Wii U release back in like more Mario news. This was a stupidly Mario-centric direct. I was very surprised because, like, I know it's Nintendo, so Mario's their bread and butter, but they just kind of kept going. In addition to the Mario RPG remake, they have also revealed that sometime next year we are getting a remaster of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which was a 3DS game, as well as a yet-to-be-titled Princess Peach game sometime next year.
Oh.
They really didn't show off a lot for the Princess Peach game, but it did look to be like a 2.5D side-scroller. And then Luigi's Mansion 2 is Luigi's Mansion. It's a pretty solid game. I kind of won over. We'll get there someday, I'm sure. Vampire Survivors is coming to the Switch August 17th, and it's launching couch players. Vampire Survivors and Roddy game. But if you need to kill a half hour, you should play some Vampire Survivors. It's fun, and it's like $3 everywhere, so you're not really
Hey.
out a ton of money. Square Enix has officially revealed Dragon. This new adventure will see a cursed prince named Deria. Monsters can train. They did more gameplay for Sonic Superstars. Sonic Superstars, 2D side-scroller Sonic game that's kind of taking like the new Super Mario Bros. Approach of just having like characters through the different stages and everything. They have like Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, I believe. He was in as well, maybe a couple other people. But they all seem to be playing pretty closely to their respective styles in the classic games. So,
Fair.
look interesting. They have announced that sometime this fall, again, yet to have an exact date announced, the Batman Arkham trilogy is getting ported to the Switch, including all of its DLC.
How the hell are they gonna make those games run on a Switch?
So Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, I can see it. They were
Arkham Knight,
PS3
though?
and 360 games. Arkham Knight terrifies me. I believe when Arkham Knight came out, they said it took as like storage space or memory space just for the Batmobile as it did for like the entirety of Arkham Asylum. So I'm very curious to see how well that's going to be optimized on the Switch. But regardless,
Good luck.
all three of those Arkham games are probably my favorite trilogy of comic book adaptations. Like my favorite series of comic book adaptation video games ever. It's so good. They have like the full original cast from the animated series. So you've got the late great Kevin Conroy playing Batman, Mark Hamill's the Joker, Tara Strong's Harley Quinn, just anyone that you would associate any character in any iteration of Batman is in that game, and the story is done so well. Such great games if you have not played. Star Ocean: The Second Story R announced for 2023. Star Ocean: The Second Story was first released on the original PlayStation in 1998, and they have confirmed that a remake titled Star Ocean: The Second Story R will be coming out to Switch, PS5, PS4, and Steam. This remake features a full reimagining of the original game with 2D pixel characters and 3D environments. If you are curious about the art style, it is what Square has been doing for the last 5 years, and it looks like Octopath, which is not a bad thing.
Fair.
I kind of like the little diorama setup that they have. Following its reveal at the Xbox Game Showcase, as well as the subsequent leaks around it, Persona 5 Tactica got a new gameplay trailer, showing off and finally officially confirming it will be releasing on the Switch November 17th of this year. Interestingly, I don't know that this was done in like an official statement capacity, but it has been since like walked back. Persona 3 Reloaded is coming to Switch at this time.
Well,
So that would
goddamn.
yeah, I don't know. That game's a fucking. I don't know, man. Atlas leaks are weird. Just kind of gotta accept it. But Persona 5 Tactica looks fun. If you have a Switch and you like Fire Emblem and you like Persona, to be derivative, that's what this game is. And one thing that they have also also leaked. I don't know if this was official either, but I think it tied into um, some DLC stuff that got leaked by a retailer. I was bitching about it when they announced it in the Xbox showcase last week that they do not acknowledge any of like the cuts of with like story. Um, they have confirmed that both Akechi and Persona 5 Royal, which is the enhanced Persona 5 that's hit all platforms and added the hours of support everywhere else. Those two characters are confirmed to be getting some kind of DLC or representation in this. So
I see.
that'll be cool. If you like the full cast of the game, which ideally you would, there you go. The representation's coming. There was a brand new game, Myth Force, announced, which brings a Saturday morning cartoon roguelike to the Switch later this year. Inspired by Saturday morning cartoons, Myth Force is a first person melee roguelike that will have you and your friends adventuring through dungeons in cursed lands to stop the evil Daedalus. It looked pretty fun. It is exactly what it says on the tin. It is very stylized, and I'm a sucker for roguelikes, so we'll see what
Aren't we
happens.
all, dude?
It's true. Um, More Mario stuff. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope's newest DLC. Um, will take Mario and his friends to a new musical planet to face new enemies and find treasure. The best part is that was also ghost dropped during the direct, so that is out now. They have also released a demo for the base game as well. So if you are on the fence about that or you haven't picked up the new Mario Rabbids game yet, um, there's a demo on the eShop to give it a shot. That's another pretty fun tactical RPG. And I believe this DLC is also the one where they are bringing Rayman, which is always cool to see Ubisoft dust that off once every 5 years. Because Rayman's rad.
Rad Rayman, Rayman Rad.
It's true. Splatoon 3's next Splatfest will take place from July 15th to 16th, which will challenge players to choose vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate chip ice cream best flavor with the appropriate colors. Please choose vanilla. It is the funniest option. Take a sippy of water here. Oh. I gotta hydrate, gamers.
True.
Um, Dance the Night Away, Just Dance 2024 has been announced for October 24th. Will feature 40 songs for you and your loved ones to dance the night away to. That is all of the news on that game as it should be. I don't know, man. Because it is a Nintendo Direct, uh, Palia is the mandatory, cozy, free to play adventure farming sim that lets you create the life of your dreams. This will be accompanied by letting you build and customize your home, play with friends and visit their homes, interact with a wide range of NPCs while experiencing a unique story, and much more. Set for a holiday release on Switch. I don't know how I feel about the free to play aspect, but the art style looks good. If for whatever reason you are exhausted by Stardew Valley, I guess this looks fine. Um, but Rune Factory and Harvest Moon are also on the Switch. But I don't know, you do you. Excuse me, I apologize.
You sneezing or something, my boy?
I'm losing my voice, but it's fine.
Fair enough.
Penny's Big Breakaway is a 3D platforming adventure from the team behind Sonic Mania that stars Penny and Yo-Yo, and it's fucking delightful. The game takes place in the world of Macaroon and sees the two heroes working together to get through wild. Um, the team behind Sonic Mania is fucking incredible at everything, and I am so glad that they are getting like the chance to make a proper game of their own, as opposed to just making a bunch of Sonic fan hacks, which is basically what they were doing until they got hired by Sega to make Sonic Mania. which in and of itself started as a Sonic fan hack. Um, but no, I highly recommend looking at the trailer for this one if you get a chance. It's like a minute and a half, but it looks so fucking great if you're into like that um, late PS1, early PS2 era of like just 3D collectathon platformers, or late N64, early GameCube. I, it looks great. I'm excited for that one. Speaking of farming RPGs, Fae Farm is a farm simming RPG that's set in a. In addition to growing your farm, you will also need to go out and friends. Fae Farm comes out on September 8th and looks to encourage players to customize their characters, home, farm, and more to their heart's content. Silent Hope sees seven wordless warriors working together to find a reclusive. Silent Hope is an interesting take on the action RPG genre, as it will see seven wordless warriors working together to find a reclusive king. And they almost use their unique abilities to accomplish this dangerous. The gameplay loop will see players going into dungeons to find treasure, returning to base to grow even stronger before doing it all over. Slated for October 3rd of this year. Looks like a pretty fun indie spin on like the traditional looter RPGs, so your Diablos, your Torchlights, Path of Exiles, what have you. Um, we'll see. That one looks interesting. Headbangers is a rhythm-based battle royale. Headbangers Rhythm Royale is a new rhythm-based battle royale. In this game, players will fight to be the last bird standing amongst 29 other birds in over 20 musical minigames. Headbangers Rhythm Royale is set to release October 31st. Um, this one looks weird. It's gonna be one where it slaps really hard, or no one is going to play it ever, from what I can gather. So we will see. Gloomhaven brings the beloved board game of the same name to Switch on September 18th. It will see players exploring cursed dungeons with unsavory mercenaries with 17 characters and over 1,000 abilities to use.
Jesus
I believe
Christ.
this game is coming to all other platforms as well, but it's cool to see something this big getting a Switch release. Um, if you don't know what Gloomhaven is, it is like probably one of the most expensive board games out there just because of the amount of shit that comes in it and the amount of shit that you need to have.
Oh?
Yeah, it's on sale on Amazon right now for $100. It retails for 200.
Jesus.
So having a $35 version of the game according to the Steam page is pretty fucking sweet. Manic Mechanics is a four-player co-op game all about repairing vehicles as fast as possible. Manic Mechanics, if you're looking for a new co-op game to play with up to three of your friends, this one may be worth looking to, as it will task players with repairing vehicles as quickly as possible on Octane Island. The vehicles include cars, trucks, choppers, tractors, mini subs, UFOs, and many more. Set to come out July 13th. I got a lot of Overcooked vibes from this game. So if you are into Overcooked and you like cars, this one looks like a fun one for some friends. I will be skipping this one. Overcooked stresses me the fuck out. There was a trailer for Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 that is still coming out on the Switch October 19th with over 130 vehicles. I have already gushed about this game ad nauseum. I will again, but I am very excited to see how this one shakes out this year.
I didn't know that it was going to be on Switch. I might actually pick this up.
Hell yeah. The first one's on Switch as well.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, and that is everything that we got out of this week's Nintendo Direct.
All right. Lots of jam-packed goodness, bro.
Lots of life left in the console that people were thinking this was going to be the last year for it. And we're only halfway through the year, maybe still.
Yeah.
There's still a window for an announcement. I mean, Christ, the fucking window that they gave between the announcement and the release for the Switch was like 2 months.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe not that long, but it was way less than a year. I remember. It was like late 2016, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, I can't wait for 2018." And they're like, "Yeah, no, it'll be out like this spring." And then it was. So I don't know. I don't think they're in quite the same spot with the Switch as they were with the Wii U to have to do that again with their next console. But there's a lot of shit coming yet. Like I said, when the trailer for that new Mario 2D game came out, I watched it like 5 times just because I couldn't get over how fucking pretty it looked. I am so excited for that game.
Jesus. I respect the dedication though, and the excitement.
It's been a long time since a Mario game has made me excited at all. That excited.
Goddamn.
I don't know if I'll be getting it day one though, because I've already got my Spider-Man pre-order locked in, which is set to come out the same. So we'll see.
True.
It's gonna be a busy fall.
Man's gonna have a shit ton of shit just chilling on his desk or something.
It's true.
Shit, my desk is already starting to get filled. But alrighty. Well, did you have anything else you want to talk about, Carter?
That is all I've got.
That's all you got? All right. Well, I guess if that's the case, I personally don't have anything in particular to talk about because all the things I was somewhat interested in keeping up to date with, Carter was already on the ball about that. So I think we'll go ahead and end it here. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. If you did enjoy tonight's episode, make sure to drop a follow or drop a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment on what you did and did not like. Join the Discord so you can get all the memes and beautiful shit that we post. Also, make sure to go and follow the socials and the Twitch channels down below. And that's all I got for plugs. Y'all have a great night. Carter, go ahead and say your intro.
Have a great night, gamers.